In this video, we will show you how to replace your front outer tie rod end. On this Ford Flex, you'll have one of these located on each side of the vehicle behind your front wheel. Let's get into it. Okay friends, let's get started on our job. The first thing you want to do is safely raise and support the front of your vehicle so the wheel's off the ground with the suspension hanging. Once you've done that, continue on to removing all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts and then the wheel. Now that we have the wheel off, we have a nice clear view of our outer and inner tie rod end. In between the two, you're going to find a 21mm jam nut. We'll use our 21mm wrench, get onto this, and try to turn it clockwise to break it free. Once you have movement from that area, continue on to your 21mm tie rod nut. There we are. Now we'll separate the outer tie rod end from the knuckle. Sometimes it'll fall right out of there, other times it requires a couple loving bonks. Now we can start unscrewing the outer tie rod end from the inner tie rod end. When you do this, it's always a good idea to make sure you count the amount of turns it takes to remove it. 1, 2, and so on. There it is, friends. Now the next thing we're going to do is clean and inspect the threaded area on the inner tie rod end. Assuming the threads look good, continue on with some copper anti-seize. Now we can install our outer tie rod end. When we go to put this in position, make sure you put it on the same amount of threads as it took to remove it in the first place. One, 2, and so on. Now we can take that outer tie rod end and put it in place into the steering knuckle. Continue with your outer tie rod end nut. To tighten this, we'll use a 21mm. Once it's snug, torque it to 111 foot-pounds. Continue on to your jam nut. We'll bottom this out against the outer tie rod end and then snug it up. To tighten this, use a 21mm on the nut and a 1-inch wrench to hold the outer tie rod end. You want to make sure that jam nut is nice and tight, otherwise your steering could potentially loosen up on you. Alright, at this point we can reinstall our wheel. We'll start on each one of our 19mm lug nuts, snug them up, get the wheel back on the ground, and then torque them to 100 foot-pounds. With the wheel safely back on the ground, we'll torque each of these in a crisscross manner. Torqued. All right, friends, the vehicle is back together. At this point, you can go ahead and hop inside the passenger compartment and take your vehicle for a road test down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.